your shoes are a disgrace. I hear you've got a shoe story. Can you put the nation at rest?
I can.
Have you not told the shoe story yet?
Haven't told the shoe story. I've been doing other stuff. I've been flat out, and I'm very.
I would throw the whole show out and just do your shoe story. I would have filled my whole show with that story alone. That is the story of the week.
You tell the story.
No, you tell it. It's your story.
So we're wandering down Savile Row, and I picked up my suit for the Abbey on Saturday tomorrow. And anyway, we're just I saw the shop. It's a beautiful shop, and it just does shoes. And the thing about London is that they make shoes. It's not like you go into a shop to buy ready-made shoes. They make shoes in places like Savile Row. So you go in, and you have to foot measured, and they do it all over several fittings and sittings. And in 6 months' time, you'll get yourself a pair of shoes. Anyway, it was one of those sort of shops, and I've always been fascinated with that. And of course, I've never had a pair of shoes made. So I wandered into the shop, and I looked at all these beautiful shoes. And they said, well, we're made to measure. And I thought, well, that's the end of that. Anyway, Katie's over in the corner of the shop, and the bloke goes, actually, we do have about a half a dozen pairs of ready-to-wear shoes that are available to you. Katie sees a shoe in the corner, don't you? Then you carry on, Katie. You see a shoe, and...
I say, this shoe's incredible. And I pick it up, and he goes, well, funny you mention that. That's King Charles' coronation shoe. We have literally made that shoe. We are his shoemakers.
Oh, wow.
And we're like, oh my God, how have we just stumbled into the King's shoemakers? So we're like, wow, that's incredible. That's the fleur-de-lis, that's the insignia, blah, blah, blah. They're bespoke. We've just fitted them. Our runner goes up to Clarence's house with them. He's wearing them on Saturday. And this pair were made in one size only, and they are like a display promotion, kind of thing to show what shoes the King will be wearing, but they are the legit, they are the actual shoe. The only difference is he has a personally inscribed insignia of the fleur-de-lis on the back. These ones didn't have that. He has his name all over everything. So Mike says, are they for sale? And he says, well, they're only one size. We've only got one pair. I would sell them, but I would ask, sir, what is the event you're attending? And Mike says, as it turns out, the coronation. And he said, could I ask your connection to the family, sir? And Mike says, no connection to the family. I'm media. We're from New Zealand. Anyway, guy loves the story. Long story short, the guy loves the story. And he says, let's just see if they fit you. Basically, Mike is Cinderella. Does the shoe fit for the ball? So we have a very tense moment where out comes the huge shoehorn, out comes the thin sock, in goes the foot to the royal shoe, and would you believe it, fits like a glove. So Mike has bought King Charles's shoes. They will both be in the same shoes for the coronation.
Not bad, eh? Brief break, more in a moment, 14 past. Tim Wilson, Kate Hawkesby with us. Just to round that story off before we bore everybody witless, one, you've got a photo, Katie. We'll put it on the social media, your Instagram, and we'll put it on the ZB Facebook page and the Mike Hosking Breakfast Instagram and all that sort of stuff. But just to explain, they're a brogue, aren't they? Is that right? Would I be using that word correctly?
Yep.
Okay, so they're a brogue, so they're a very conservative traditional shoe, but they're a beautiful, what would you call it, Katie? A reddy, browny, blacky, like a very individual sort of colour.
Yeah, the patinaing of it just goes into different, it's tonal, so the toe is shiny and different and sort of got the brogue bit on it, and then it goes into a sort of a darker bit at the back, and every aspect, it's like the shoe has a personality of its own. It's an amazing shoe.
This is so incredible. Mike, this is like at the age of 63, you've now got your first pair of adult shoes. Congratulations.
It's just so. I was like, what a tin bum. First of all, we get the last minute, call up to the coronation so he can go in. Second of all, he ends up wearing the same shoes as King Charles. I mean, what are the odds? What a joke. The guy's life is a joke. I can't believe it.
It's fantastic. And for all of the hundreds of people who have texted in asking the obvious question, I can't bring myself to tell you what they cost.
Would you say more or less than the last car you bought?
They're dangerous.
I think you should say what they cost because that's a fair question they've asked. I mean, it's horrifying what they've cost, but it's a once in a lifetime historic memento.
And now we're going to get into a dangerous area about is this a deductible expense or something like that?
Yeah. Maybe we could we sort of, I don't know. Okay, so I paid $4,000 for my Suzuki Swift. Is it half a Suzuki Swift? Is it?
Okay, so you paid $4,000 for your. Did you pay $4,000 for your Suzuki Swift? Is it half a Suzuki Swift?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Is it three quarters?
It's more than your Suzuki Swift.
I think it would be a lovely gesture for the company to purchase these as a gift to you for being the special correspondent for the coronation, for delaying your trip home, for all the days and hours you've worked above and beyond, and for representing New Zealand, and what a lovely memento for you to have, and I think it's a beautiful gesture of NZB.
Very good question on the text. Did Mike get a second pair half price?
It's not number one shoe warehouse.
No,
What funny was that a camera crew turned up to film the shoes, and it was a bit awkward because Mike had just bought them. But that's how famous the shoes were, and they were gone from the window.
The other thing you should also supply, Katie, is the photo. There's a photo of Charles. I don't think he's in the shop. He's at his place because they go to him. Charles signing the thing saying he's bought the shoes and they're his shoes. So it's got an autographed picture of Charles from the shop. So it was just, I mean, what a gobsmacking turn of events, eh?
And we just stumbled into it. It was so serendipitous and so hilarious. We were like, what are the odds of this happening? This is Charles Shoemakers. What a joke.
Yeah.
Well, is it coincidence? I'm not a big believer in coincidence. Something's at work. You're going to be in the Abbey in those shoes. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I don't. Do you know what I'm worried about now? What I'm really worried about is they're brand new, and because they've got beautiful leather soles, the first thing you never do with leather soles, of course, is walk in wet. I've got to walk miles to get to the place where I need to meet to get to the security clearance. So I don't, and the forecast now is turning. The forecast is the possibility of some rain, and they're worried about the Red Arrow flyby being cancelled because of the low cloud. So I just do not know what I'm going to do if it's wet.
You're going to have a panic attack about your shoes.
You know what I'm worried about?
What are you worried about?
Small talk. You're hopeless at small talk. You're going into a group. You've got Chippy, you've got the Governor-General, you've got the Māori King. You have to sit down with Kate and do a quick session on how to make small talk naturally, agreeably, and in an unforced fashion. Do you think you're up for it, Kate?
Oh, he'll be awesome. No, he's great. I have witnessed him this week small talking his way through London to just about everybody, and I think he's really come to life, Tim. I think you'll be impressed.
Actually, late-breaking text, Mike, can't you wear a pair of track shoes? Then once you get there, change shoes. Another one says plastic shoe covers. Look, the advice is coming in left, right and centre.
Helpful, very helpful.
That's good, yeah.
Exactly. Tim, you have a lovely weekend. Appreciate it.
It's not a bad idea to wear trainers and then put them on at the end. It's just they're very heavy to carry, aren't they?
Yeah, they came with shoe trees.
Oh, my goodness.
I know.
Have a great time.
They'll need a suitcase of their own.
I will have a good time. Thank you, Tim. Katie, appreciate it. And we'll see you back in New Zealand, all back in New Zealand this time next week, 8:22.